Oi, homies. As you can tell by the title, in today's video we're going to discuss the laws around driving with a medical cannabis prescription here in the UK. But just quickly, before we get into that, if you're new around here, how do? And if you're not new around here, welcome back to the channel. Now let's get into today's video. Almost every single day I see this question being asked in some capacity across either Discord, Reddit or Facebook communities. So in today's video, hopefully we're going to be able to provide you with some information, and more than likely the officer that might stop you, hopefully that's never the case, but they will require some information too, more than likely. Because even though medical cannabis was made legal in 2018, up and down the country, police forces have been very poorly educated, if educated at all. So there's a good chance if you do ever have an encounter with an officer, they probably don't even know about medical cannabis, let alone that it's legal and that you are allowed to drive. Now, it's not just as simple as you can drive with THC in your system. There are a few things to consider and there is some criteria that you must meet. But let's start off by just basically saying you are in fact allowed to drive with a medical cannabis prescription with THC in your system, so long as there are no other concerns for your driving ability. So those considerations / criteria that I mentioned earlier. So if you feel drowsy or sleepy, I suggest you do not drive. And also if you're new to the treatment and you're not certain on how it's going to affect you, I'd also suggest you do not drive. Now, before I say what I'm about to say, I am not the consumption police. However, this is just the legalities around the matter. So you also need to be consuming your prescription in accordance with how it was prescribed to you. So basically, no chonging a baton out of the window. You need to be vaping your meds. Now, as much of a ball ache as carrying some of these packages are, it is best that you always carry your meds in the provided pack with the label that states your name, date, and all the other information that was given upon you receiving your prescription. And last but not least, some form of documentation that just proves that your prescription is yours. Either a cover letter, some clinics may provide this. I personally just carry a physical copy of my prescription, which is provided to me from my clinic, and the clinic that I'm currently with is Integral. Now, once you've ticked all those boxes, you're legally allowed to drive with THC in your system, which is detailed under Section 5A3 of the Road Traffic Act. Now, don't take my word for it. I'll post all the links that I've used to gain all of the knowledge for this video so that you can refer to them. Now, just in case you are stopped, there's a couple of things that you should bear in mind. First of all, try to stay as calm and relaxed as possible. And unless you're asked about your cannabis or a smell, there's no need to mention your medical cannabis. However, if you are asked and you are doing everything that we've covered in this video, just remain calm, comply, explain to the officer that you are a medical patient in the UK and that you are legally covered to be driving with THC in your system. So listen, even though you've done everything that you need to do, there's still a good chance that you're going to be asked to provide a blood test or a saliva test, because even though since 2018 medical cannabis has been made legal and is legal, the education of police forces up and down the country has been very poor, if there has been any at all. And if you are asked to provide a saliva test, a blood test, or even do an impairment test, it is crucial that you comply, because under Section 5A3 of the Road Traffic Act, in court this will be dismissed if you are complying with everything else that we've covered in the video. Now, if they're still not happy with all of this and you are actually detained, it's always best that you seek legal advice and continue to explain that you are medically exempt and that you are actually a legal medical patient here in the UK. Now, fingers crossed this never happens, and I don't hear of it going this far very often, but I did just think it was worth documenting it just in case. I think we've about covered everything in this one, but if I have missed anything or if you've got any questions at all, feel free to leave them in the comments. But just quickly before I go, I do post on X, Instagram, and we do have a newly created Facebook with all of the information that I've provided in this video and a whole host of other information. What I'll do, as always, is I'll post all of the social links in the description for you. So listen, if this video has helped you, or you think it can help someone else, hit that like button. Why not drop me a subscription? Even share. It's imperative that we keep the conversation alive. But I think that about wraps it up for this one. So as always, if you've made it this far, thank you. I hope you have a lovely rest of your day. Stay safe. Peace out for now.